The next two lessons are intended to bring out something unique in a photograph. A lot of us shoot photos and they look fairly interesting, but your eye doesn't seem to go right into the photo. I'll give you an example of that. This photo is pretty busy. In other words, there are boats and buildings and of course the light here and so on and so forth. But there's a lot that can be done to it so that it brings your eye in and not necessarily using the entire photo. Let's say, for example, that I want everybody's eye to come into this building right here. It's called the hagendaz, a building in the villages. I don't need all of this photo. So what I'm going to do here is to first of all hit the Control J and close down the bottom. All right, so let's assume, for example, that I want to do a 4x6. So I go here to where it says no restriction, and I'm going to use a 4x6. And I can move the 4x6 around until I determine where I would like to have the photo. Now, as we can see, we still have these here, and I'd like to get rid of those, bring this up, and just say OK. And so this would be the part of the photo that I'm more interested in doing something with. Let's say, for example, that the color and certainly looks a little bit drab. So rather than going in and doing enhancing and auto levels and so on and so forth, what I'm going to do is just go to the quick selection tool and go to color. And now this is where that photo is right at the moment. If I move this over, you can see that the color is coming out a little bit more. In other words, here to here, but then let's assume I come out to here. Now you may or may not like that color, it may be too intense, but you can start with just moving this slider just a little bit. And you can see that now the slider is going up and down and bringing out a little bit more of the color right there. And now we can go back to expert mode and you can see the difference in these two by just shutting the top part off. And what we've done is to increase the color. That's what the first thing we've done. Now, let's say we want to get rid of these people here. They probably deter a bit from the photo, although it'd be perfectly all right. But let's do that. Let's take these people out of the photo. So what we're going to do here is go to the Lasso Tool right here, Lasso Tool, and I'm going to select this person right here, right there and up. And I'm going to go to Edit, and here you see Fill Selection, Fill Selection. And here you're going to see foreground color, background color, and so forth. What you want is content aware in a normal mode. And just say OK. And look what's happened here. That person has disappeared. Now we'll take care of these ropes a little bit after we do this. Let's do the same thing here with these people. Here I go, right there. I'm going to do the same thing here. Edit, fill selection, content aware, and say OK. And there they're gone. And I'm going to do the same thing with this person. Right there. Same thing. Edit, fill selection, content aware, and say OK. And he's gone. I'll do a deselect here. And this is what we're left with. Okay. So as you can see right here where I'm pointing, and right here where I'm also pointing, are some missing ropes. So what I'm going to do here is pretty simple. I'm going to come over here, right here. I'm going to select these ropes and maybe a little part of this barrel. Now I made that selection. I'm going to the Move tool right there. And I'm going to hit the Alt key and just move that right there. And then bring that over and say, okay. And I'm going to do the same thing here where you can see where the rope has gone. So I'm going to hit the Alt key again, and I'm just going to move this over to here. Move this over until I see that. A little bit more. And say OK. And deselect. And now we have the people are gone right here. All right. And the ropes have been replaced. So now let's take a look at what we've done here. Okay, people are gone. We've increased the light a bit. And now what I'm going to do is to do a quick select. No, I'm sorry. I'm going to do the magic wand tool. And now you'll see what happens. Everything here that is contiguous. Now right there where I have this has not been selected. So I'm going to hit the Shift key to continue to select right here. There we have it. Good. So we now have this selection right here. And now I'm going to edit. And I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm going to go to edit and hit delete. And now you see what's happened right here. It's all transparent. So now I'll do a Control D to deselect that and come to the photo bin where I've entered the sky. Go back to photo bin, select this, move the sky over this right there. And here's the sky. And I'm at the Move tool and I'm going to move the sky up right here to about there. Okay. Now I've selected the sky and you can see it's over the original photo. So I'm going to move that sky down to about here. And now you see what's happened to the sky. It's now taken over and is now into the background of the photo. Okay. So we are now, and remember this, that when I go back to the sky right here, and if I want to move that sky, I can still move it. I can, whoop, here we go, to the sky and move it up and down. So if you see, for example, that you have somewhere where maybe the clouds are a little bit better, that's okay, you can do that. And now we're right back to where we were before. A new sky, more color, and obviously a 4x6 rather than having a lot of other things that were in there before. Now I'm going to select again by quick selection just the hagendaz building. And here I go. That's all I'm selecting here. Because what I want to do, you see I've over selected here. What I want to do, I'll do the Alt key to go back to its original. And what I want you to do for sure is to bring your eye directly into this building. All right, because as you look at the photo, I want your eye to come directly in there and then take in the rest of the photo. So at this point, I can go back to quick if I want to. Let's go back to expert, make sure that I'm on the right layer right here. Oh, I'm sorry. I want to do a Control J, which gives me the building by itself. Here we can see it. All right. And now on layer 2, I will now go to quick, do color, and if I want to, I can just increase the color just a little bit. There we have it, or even more so. All right, but we'll just do it one more time. There we go. And now we certainly have more red in here than we did before, and I feel certain now that once you would look at this photo, the first thing that you would see would be the red hagendaz building. And then your eye then takes in the remainder of the photo. So let's go back to expert mode for a moment. And let's do the following. We're going to take layer 1 and the sky and put them together, because I'm satisfied right now with these two layers being. So all I'm going to do at this point is to merge those two layers, merge layers. And so we have now all of these except for the building. You'll see the building is a little bit different. See how I plot it? Okay. Now let's assume, for example, that you like that the way it is. You can certainly save it as a PSD. There are other things you can do with it. For example, if I go back to layer 1, which I'm in here, and let's say I'm going to filter, and let's say I'm going to go to texture, and I go to texturizer. Now, can you see here what the texture behind the photo is? And I can bring the texture up and the relief up if I want to. You can see how all of a sudden it's texturizing. Okay, and the scaling. All right, that's more of the scaling. And now you can see that there is a texture behind here. It's as if you would put it on canvas, for example. And let's just say okay. And now we bring layer 2. If I shut it off, the entire thing is textured. But now I haven't touched layer 2, and there's the red building. So now all of a sudden, here we are. We have texturized the photo except for the Haagen-Dazs building, which is a different way that you want to do something. In other words, you can use a different textures or backgrounds in your photo. So I think that's enough for this. I am assuming that you can see the difference between our original, which was this, to this, to this.